In today's fast-paced world, anger is an emotion that many people struggle to control. It can arise from the smallest of frustrations or from deeper wounds that we've carried for years. But what if we told you that there's a way to master your anger? A way to handle it with peace and clarity? What if the secret to calming your anger was to simply let it go? Buddha's teachings offer profound wisdom on how to control our emotions, particularly anger. His insights can help us find peace in moments of conflict and guide us on the path to emotional freedom. In this video, we will explore how to apply Buddha's teachings to anger and how you can learn to release it before it takes control of you. The true nature of anger. Anger is a universal emotion. It arises when we feel that our expectations or desires have been thwarted. Whether it's in our work, relationships, or personal life, anger often stems from a sense of frustration or helplessness. Buddha saw anger not as a simple emotion, but as a manifestation of deeper inner turmoil. Anger often arises when our desires are unmet, or when we feel powerless in a situation. For example, imagine you've worked hard on a project only to have someone else ruin it. Or you've invested time in a relationship that ends unexpectedly. Anger surges within us when we feel that things are outside our control. Buddha called this feeling of desire and attachment clinging. When we become attached to an outcome, we create expectations. And when those expectations are not met, we experience anger. Buddha likened anger to poison, as it harms us, even if we direct it toward others. Anger clouds our judgment and makes us act impulsively, often hurting those around us and damaging our relationships. But by understanding anger's true nature, we can begin to free ourselves from its hold. Responding to anger with understanding. When we feel angry, it's common to want to blame someone else. We might find ourselves thinking, "Why is this person making me so upset?" But Buddha's teachings ask us to take a step back and consider the person we are angry with. Rather than placing blame, we are encouraged to seek understanding. Everyone carries their own burdens, their own struggles. The person you are angry with might be carrying a heavy load of stress, sadness, or unhealed pain. Buddha taught us to see others not as enemies, but as fellow beings experiencing suffering, just like ourselves. For example, imagine you are walking down the street and someone suddenly bumps into you. Naturally, you might feel anger rise within you. But if you stop and think, what if this person is going through something difficult? Maybe they're not intentionally trying to hurt me. You might find that your anger dissipates. Understanding that the other person is also human, with their own struggles, can transform how you react. Buddha teaches us to look beyond the surface and recognize the suffering in others, which can help to soften our anger. The power of silence. One of Buddha's most powerful teachings is the power of silence. In moments of anger, we often react impulsively with harsh words. But this only fuels the fire and escalates the situation. Buddha advised us to embrace silence, especially in times of emotional turmoil. Silence isn't about being passive or avoiding conflict. It's about giving ourselves a moment to calm down and regain clarity. By taking a pause before responding, we can prevent ourselves from saying things we might later regret. In moments of anger, instead of reacting immediately, Buddha encourages us to breathe deeply, step back, and create space between the emotional reaction and our response. This space is essential for regaining control over our emotions. It allows us to observe our feelings without becoming consumed by them. In that moment of silence, we can reflect on our emotions and choose a more thoughtful, peaceful response. The role of breath in emotional control. Breathing is a simple but profound practice for calming the mind. Buddha's teachings emphasize the importance of conscious breathing to restore balance and clarity. When anger rises, it's easy to forget to breathe deeply. But taking a few moments to focus on your breath can help you regain control. In times of anger, try taking a few slow, deep breaths. As you breathe in, focus on the sensation of the air filling your lungs. As you breathe out, release the tension and negativity. This mindful breathing can help you reduce the intensity of your anger and bring your mind back to a place of peace. By practicing deep breathing, we can allow the emotional storm inside us to pass without getting swept away by it. When we take control of our breath, we take control of our emotions. And when we control our emotions, we find true peace. Practicing compassion. Perhaps the most transformative aspect of dealing with anger is the practice of compassion. Buddha taught us to approach others with kindness, even when they seem to be the source of our anger. Compassion is not about excusing bad behavior or tolerating mistreatment. It's about recognizing the shared human experience of suffering and responding with empathy. When someone's anger or negativity triggers us, instead of retaliating, we can choose to meet them with compassion. By doing so, we not only help to diffuse the situation, but also create a peaceful and healing space for both ourselves and the other person. Buddha said, "Anger is not dispelled by anger. Only by love is anger dispelled." By responding with kindness and understanding, we can break the cycle of anger and open the door to reconciliation and peace. The freedom of letting go. When we choose not to respond to anger with anger, we free ourselves from its grasp. We no longer allow ourselves to be controlled by negative emotions. Instead, we take back our power. Letting go of anger doesn't mean suppressing it or pretending it doesn't exist. It means acknowledging the emotion, understanding its source, and then choosing not to let it dictate our behavior. By letting go of anger, we create space for inner peace. This peace isn't dependent on external circumstances. It is something we cultivate from within. The more we practice letting go of anger, the more we strengthen our inner peace. And as we cultivate peace within ourselves, we are better able to handle life's challenges with grace and composure. Conclusion. Buddha's teachings offer us a powerful blueprint for managing our emotions and cultivating peace in our lives. By understanding the true nature of anger, practicing silence, breathing consciously, and cultivating compassion, we can free ourselves from the cycle of anger and find peace. Anger is a natural human emotion, but we don't have to let it control us. With Buddha's wisdom, we can learn to respond with understanding, silence, and compassion, ultimately leading to a life of greater peace and happiness. The next time you feel anger rising within you, remember these teachings. Take a deep breath, practice silence, and choose compassion. By doing so, you'll begin to experience the transformative power of letting go and creating a more peaceful, joyful life.